YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So we haven't had a car video in a while. I've been recording inside of my house and everything, and it's been a little bit since we've done a car video, but let's just get right into this video. Let's talk about how you can't turn cold-hearted. So you already know that, like, you go through a lot of suffering, right? Like suffering that you don't deserve, just like kind of like meaningless suffering. Like it seems like it's like pointless. You're just like, why do I have to go through this? Like, what's the point? Like I just keep suffering with whatever it is. It could be like a multi amount of things, and you're just like, what's going on? So if you're chosen, your life is constantly gonna try to test you and kind of try to make you evil. It's always gonna try to turn you evil. It's always gonna try to turn you into like a person who's wicked, who's cold-blooded, who's cold-hearted, who's just someone. It just tries to break you because it knows you're unbreakable, and you have to suffer through spiritual warfare. And just like Jesus in the Bible, where even when he got spit on, he got beat, he got spit on, he got crucified and everything, he never lost like love inside of his spirit. He never lost love. He was always able to forgive. He never turned into someone who was cold-hearted. He never turned cold, right? And that's how your life is. And you already know this, that like it's almost as if like you don't even know how you act this way. It's like, how have you not turned cold-hearted yet by like everything that you've seen, everything that you've been through, everything that you've had to suffer through? It's like, how have you not turned cold because of it? How have you not become evil? How have you not killed that love yet? It's because you carry the Holy Spirit with you. You carry the Spirit of God with you, and God is love. And if you carry the Spirit of the Most High inside of you, you have nothing but love, and that love is unbreakable. No matter what it goes through, it's unbreakable. And you've seen this happen throughout your whole life, and like you've had stuff happen to you that are completely unfair. Like you already know that the things that happen to you are unfair. Like they're not fair. They're almost just like, it just happens to you. It just somehow it goes wrong. Somehow these things keep happening to you, and it's as if you're like cursed in a way, right? You just feel like you're cursed. It's as if like your whole life it's an uphill mountain. An uphill mountain with a devil trying not to get me to talk again, but you kind of, you go up an uphill mountain, and like it's as if there's like a rock coming down while you're going up. So you're going up, and it's still tremendous resistance, and you're just like, you're probably like, why can't I just live, right? Like why can't I just live? I see everyone going through their life smoothly, and like they don't really go through too many traumatic things, or like too many things that are completely terrible. Like they have their struggles and everything, but for you it's as if like it's always struggle, it's always suffering, it's always something stopping you, it's always a thorn in your flesh, it's always just like a lot of nuisances, right? It's as if you're like your whole life you have to suffer through nuisances, like things in your way all the time. And like you've probably seen these things happen, and it might have made you angry for such a short time, and you already know that your anger is short-lived. Like you're not really angry for a long time. You bounce back super fast, and you always go back to the kind person that you are. You always go back to love. It's like you always, every single time, every single time, without a doubt, you always go back to love. You always go back to kindness. You always go back to optimism. You just keep going back to it. And any rational person would think, like, with all the stuff that you go through and all like the negativity and all the suffering, it could be mental struggles, it could be like struggling with money, it could always be like setback after setback, constant cycles and everything, the same old cycles. It could be like a ton of things that are constantly like stopping you from living, right? It's stopping you from like enjoying your life. And like your whole intentions in your life have always just been like, you just want a good life, you just want to have fun, you want good people around you, you want a good life, you want a free life where you could live, and you could enjoy what life has to offer. But you have to suffer through the dark, and this is kind of like why I always say it's like a curse of someone who's chosen. You have to see the dark. You always got to constantly just see it, because you're not really a person that has to. You're not really a person that's supposed to live a normal life, because you can't live a normal life because you have a lot of gifts inside of you, and you see outside. You see like what the truth about everything, and you see the dark and the light about the world. You see like the wickedness, and you see the good. And so you're a person that constantly has seen both sides, and you have to go through both sides. So this is why you're like a person who may attract a lot of attention. You may have attracted a lot of attention because you could relate to light, which is God, like love, which is God. You can relate to the dark because you've seen the dark. You can relate to both, and you've seen both of these sides. And this is why your life has always seemed like it's always just like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't go smoothly. It's a bumpy road your whole life. It's always just something. It's always something. And there's things that are going to try to break your spirit, and no matter how strong this certain thing was, whatever this thing is, it never broke your spirit. This is why I say you have a warrior spirit. You're constantly a fighter that wins every single battle, and you win all these battles. And some of these battles might have been there to kill you, right? Like they might have tried to kill you, and like they still didn't kill you, and you beat them, and you beat them, and you beat them, and you just constantly just literally just slicing your way through life. Like literally, like you're like a sword. You're like a walking sword, and you just go through all these things, and like you just never lose this love inside of you. Like that's the only way I can explain it. You never lose your optimism with people. You never lose kindness to other people. You never lose a love for your life. You just can't lose it somehow. Even if you want to, and this is a funny thing, even if you want to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna be wicked. I'm gonna be evil. Like I'm gonna just be cold. I'm gonna hate my life. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna treat people this way. I'm just gonna do something, just do evil things. But you know that you're always stopped from doing that. You can never do it, and it might even seem annoying to you because it feels as if like you don't have a free will. You only have a free will to constantly just eat your suffering. Like you're always eating it, right? You're always kind of like, and what I mean by eating it, it's as if like you'll take a blow to your face and you eat it. You always eat it, and you never like, you don't fall, and you don't go down the wrong way like ever. And this is the life of someone who's destined for other things, who's called out of the world. This is what God has shows you to do, because everyone of God is a warrior, right? Because we live in a world that's dark, it has a lot of dark, it has a lot of evil things, there's a lot of evil, and you would never know the truth about anything unless you see both sides. If you didn't see the wickedness of the world, you wouldn't know truly what love was and like kindness was. If you've only seen kindness, then you would not know anything about wickedness. You would just look at it as normal. And if you've only seen wickedness and evil, you wouldn't know what it was. So this is why you live in kind of like this yin and yang type of, you kind of live in this like yin and yang type of personality where you see everything, but your whole spirit is always of love, because you carry God's spirit inside of you, which is just love. Because God's, on top of all things, God is just love. That's not what God does, it's just what God is. So you carry that same spirit. You carry that same spirit of the Creator. So you never lose that type of love. Just like how Jesus never lost love for his people, he even loved his enemies, he even loved the wicked. He never lost that spirit, because if you do lose that spirit, that's when you lose. Because if you lose that strength inside of you to have love inside of you, if you do lose that, then you start to turn into sin. You start to go into wickedness. You start to darken your life. You start to just be in the evil. You start to just lose yourself in a way. You start to lose your brightness and everything. This is why you could go through all these things and you never lose that brightness, because that spirit is completely dominant. Love is completely dominant to anything. It's the most dominant spirit because it comes from God. No, it is what God is. So you might even notice this about yourself, where you somehow just you can't stop. You just can't stop yourself. You can't even you can never like subscribe to like things that are just evil. You never can. You can never just start doing people wrong, right? You can never just start manipulating other people, lying to other people, taking advantage of other people, taking advantage of certain situations, just being evil. You can never go through that, because God doesn't let you. That spirit doesn't let you, because you have eyes to see, and you see what's right and wrong. You have a really strong morality about you, where like even if you've been unfortunate, you've had a lot of misfortunes in your life, you still never go to the bitterness and being evil and taking advantage and doing evil things, right? Like it's impossible for you. And this is why you're so blessed, because you're called to be someone who endures. You endure a lot, and as annoying as it is, and as like frustrating as it is, your strength is unmatched. It's unstoppable. And God always keeps you back up and everything. And it's for a purpose, because you know that you beat every battle, every challenge you go through. You're always constantly winning and beating things, no matter what it is, because God has called you for whatever specific purpose he has for you. And because you have a purpose of God, you're going to have a different type of strength to you. And the only way to become strong is when you go through adversity, right? You go through a lot of adversity, you see the dark, you see the truth about things. Because if you didn't see all that adversity, you would never be where you're at now. You would have never noticed your true personality. You would have never seen like the actual strength you have. You would have never seen how you're able to go in the dark and turn it into light. Like you would have never known you had the ability to do that unless you've gone through these situations like in hand. And you already know that your whole life is based on experience. Like you may know a lot of things because you've experienced a lot. You've experienced pretty much everything the world has to offer, and you've seen everything in the world. And the reason you know all this stuff is because you're out of the world, so you see everything for what it is. You see the truth about everything, and that's why you go through all these things. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys resonate in your spirit with this. I know a lot of you can. But yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment, and God bless you guys.